How's it going, guys? Upset City here, Fort Lewis, Part 5 of Takeover the Title. We are 11-0. We are the 20th ranked team in the nation. Do I care? To new coaches, still, no, I don't. That's not the ultimate goal, it's not for the short term success, it is long term. However, I have definitely felt the impacts of like a lower prestige. Uh, so getting to that higher prestige will feel nice. So making the tournament or even a second or I don't think I'm that good, but or my team is that good. Uh, the wins will feel nice. The prestige boost will feel nice. And I suppose if I debated tanking again this season, and I'll get into that in a second because we're not good. And that we're kind of at a crossroads where I thought this team was going to I was like, oh man, every team I take over, I turn around in 4 seasons. This will be like 4 or 5 seasons tops. And now I'm here like, holy crap, this might take a whole other 4 to 6 to 10 seasons before I'm actually any decent. I want to go over scouting this episode. I want to go over my past recruiting, and I want to go over Upset City found a cheater? Question mark? Question mark? I think it would be funny. I don't know if I would. Maybe I should. Uh, Use like a thumbnail that has like a bunch of red circles and arrows pointing to like cheater face's name and just like really clickbaity like cheater in all capitals. Just try and get those views, you know. Uh, and then somebody who doesn't play HD opens it and they're like, "What is going on?" Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me start off with my scouting. What I do for scouting, and then I'll talk about my team, and then I'll talk about the little situation I had because you got to keep that juicy drama for the end to keep those view numbers up. So, what do I normally do for scouting? I had 2 people comment in my last 3 videos, as well as I had 2 people message me on Discord asking if I can go over scouting. So, here's what I do. It's not super intuitive, but no matter what this isn't going to show anything, right? Nope, it is not. No matter what, every season I go down to the bottom here, and the first thing I do is I run a camp. I invite the maximum amount of players. I choose D1 and D2, and I try and get as many players as I can from camps. Then, after I run those camps, I go to my scouting service. I will take D1 states in my area, and I will look at. I don't know why I keep doing Hawaii. I feel like it's part of like the bit at this point, but then I've started doing it like aggressively on my other teams too. So I don't know why I keep doing it, but I would say don't scout Hawaii. But then I'm like, is that because I want Hawaii to myself? Who knows? As well as I scout the surrounding area at the D2 level as well. That'll load in a second. So I'm scouting in my general area. Again, I'm saying I probably could go a little bit more into California because I know that like upper border California is free. Texas is pretty full, so I just didn't really look over there. I run the camp. That finds me a good amount of players. I scout this. I use Future Star Scouting to scout the surrounding states. Then I open up my recruit pool for Division 2, and I'll have no like distance restrictions. So every recruit I've found is on there, and I go down and I try and find who's interesting. Right now I'm not at a point on this team where I'm looking at JUCOs or like transfers or anything. I really need better 4-year guys. I really need anything right now. This series is going so poorly. I'll scout the Future Star Scouting, and I'll kind of look around and be like, okay, that gives me pretty good information on all those recruits. Is there anyone I want to look more into? And then I'll kind of just mark them down as guys on my board. I'm looking again for guys who have high potential, hyper elite guys in those roles I talked about last video. And anyone who is that, say I found somebody in, I don't know, like Western or Eastern Kansas, say he was not in the camp. If he is, and I learned this, I think, from T-Mac. If he is a B in athleticism and then a C in the other 2 categories, he's worth scouting. I don't know why. When I first got to D2, I was like, dude, I'm blowing all my budget because I'm so used to D1. What am I doing wrong? He said BCC, and that just kind of stuck with me. However, I've kind of modified it at this point where it's like I still end up with a decent amount of money. And so I'm like, okay, start modifying. Can I get a CBC or a CCB, or is there how on average, if there was an average, say like B is, I don't know, 2, C is 3, then I want what, a 2.3 average. Uh, then after I scout all those guys, sometimes those guys, well, no, they should be higher than that at that point. So anyway, if they're level 1, if they're level 2, then you already have a little bit more information. Like, is this guy worth going for? If he's an F in defense and athleticism, it's like probably not. If he's in a guard with F in, or like D in ball handling, passing, and like F minus work ethic, it's like probably not, or whatever. I guess there's no minuses at that point, but F. Then you kind of hold off on those guys. Then I go back to D1. I future star scout around me again. And again, I'm only avoiding Texas because I know there's so many coaches there. And I don't know why I didn't scout Oklahoma. Whatever. I then do the same thing. I'm looking for D1s, D1 projected players who are on average BCC. If you go for somebody who's like BBC or BCB or whatever, CBB, whatever the combination is, those guys typically just get taken by D1s. Like, that's good enough for a D1 most of the time to at least look at and start playing around with. So that's that arbitrary threshold of like, he's probably too good. You can start to find those lines of like, all right, well, I know that there's not a lot of really strong Texas teams near me, or there's not a lot of strong Florida teams near me in D1, and I know that there's no D2s in here, so, or wherever you are. So then you can kind of start playing like a risk reward game of, let me cheat up and try and get better talent. Additionally, you could also just cheat down, go for like the CCC or the BDC or something like that. Again, where you're almost at like a 2 average, if that number scale from earlier. And I just made that up. Nobody ever told me about a number scale, but it kind of gives you like this threshold, like this arbitrary threshold of, this is the type of player you like, the strength of player you should be trying to recruit. That's what I do. That's what T-Mac taught me. I've modified it a little bit, but he's recruited well. I've recruited well, so that just works for me. And again, as you start burning through all the BCCs or like that 2.3 average, I more times than not will scout down, and we'll start going for the CCC guys or the BDC, and just hope that I can hit some like the jackpot on some potentials, because like a D or an F perimeter that's green is going to come up as I'm assuming like a D or an F on their offense, but realistically they could have really good offense. So I don't know. That's how I do it. Hopefully, I don't know, that's helpful for you guys. Now, why am I at a crossroads with Fort Lewis? Here's the photo I shared in the Discord. So, let me explain what happened with recruiting, and then I'll show you guys how my team is playing out right now. My team sucks. Like, there's just no way about it. My team's really not great, and I'm sitting here like, okay, this needs to be a dominant, big class, dominant. I need serious offensive help here, because Kells and 2 low ball handling shooters and no bigs who can score is really not going to be a great success. So these 3 were my top targets. Well, actually, it was these 2, because I didn't like his athleticism. These 2 were top targets for me. I like that Corbett has a little bit more guaranteed offense, but Craner in his own right, I figured that there was a chance Corbett could go D1. So I put into Corbett knowing that if something happens, you need to pull off and go into LaCour and Craner. I put a couple hundred into Corbett, and then Colorado State appeared on Corbett and just ripped him away from us. Me and Metro and maybe one other coach. No, it was just me and Metro. So then, yeah, because the other coach I was thinking was down here. So then I went on Craner, and I put in a couple hundred, and then Seattle ended up appearing. And then, like, shortly after that, Colorado State also appears on this guy and takes him from me. This guy, I could justify D1. Like, he's going to end up good enough to be a good offensive player at D1. The stamina's perfect. The defense will get there. He's a guaranteed bucket. He's got offense. Like I could see going D1. I would not expect the same D1 coach who goes for this guy here to also want this guy with the low athleticism, capped defense. Just like that didn't make sense to me. So I continued to put AP in here, going, there's no shot Colorado State thinks that these guys are equal. So I think that there's a chance he pulls scholarship. I've never done that before. I was like, I think there's a chance that this guy tries to pull scholarship and on this kid. And he's just doing that as like let me make sure I have a backup option. So I put after Corbett, into LaCour, who I didn't want because of that, and Craner, who I loved. I just figured he was more like D2 worthy. So I'm still putting in AP here, and every cycle, I'm not only checking if this guy is going to pull, I'm also every cycle, because I'm desperate for this video, like I'm about to release a video that's like, hey, I suck. I'm also checking Corbett constantly because I'm like, is he getting battled there? Why? Is there a chance that he pulls? And while I was in Greece on my honeymoon or for my wedding, and I was like, wait, this guy pulled offer on. I open up a cycle and suddenly there's no offer on Corbett, and I go, no shot, this moron just pulled off, thinking it's not a cheater. I'm like, no way, this moron pulled offer on Corbett and is keeping it on Craner. He must be just a bad coach. I got lucky. Let me start ADing into Corbett because I need this. Like, this would change the trajectory of Fort Lewis, like, for good. Like, this would be great. The cycle that I put down 80 and was able to offer, Metropolitan beat me to the offer, which is weird. Like, I don't really go around the D2 pool all that much and check if D1s have pulled offer on day 3 of recruiting. I was doing it strictly for secondary reasons on Craner. So it was weird to me that this was happening. And then suddenly, when I got the offer, he got an offer and got low to my very low. And I'm like, how much AP could this guy be beating me by? I was right there to start with him, and then I just 80'd. So I'm thinking that, maybe I'm going to sneak attack. Maybe he thinks he's just getting cute. RSU comes around, he beats me in a 75 to 25 roll on Corbett. I start complaining, like, what are the odds that this dude beat me to this recruit? Like, and also notice the same cycle that I did, and also was able to get, why was he putting in AP here, of all places, when I wasn't, because Colorado State was taking this kid. I explained all that to T-Mac, and he goes, that sounds fishy, I'd look into it. And I looked into it, and there's a big stinky face cheater. So I lost out on potentially 2, if not 1, because, right, like, I could have easily gotten this guy for D. I shouldn't say easily, because Seattle was looking at it. They jump on, like, the cycle that Colorado State appeared, or maybe the cycle before. I shouldn't say I easily would have gotten this guy. I did roll for him, so I wanted to wait to make this video because I actually did think there was a chance that I was going to get this recruit. Like, I really did think that I chatted with Bob, I chatted with Jordan. They gave me reasons as to why they're not doing it, and I understand they don't want to set the standard as we give recruits back. Like, I didn't win the role, and what if Colorado State wasn't there? What if Metropolitan wasn't there? You're just getting into a really slippery slope. So although I agree, I didn't care. I mean, I do care. I wanted the recruit, clearly. Although I feel I should have earned Corbett because I was one of 2 D2 coaches to jump on him. Like, anyone could have jumped at that. Whereas Craner, that's not fair because, there's so much time for a D2 to jump in. Colorado State opened the door, and only me and Colorado State's alt account looked and were ready to jump. So I thought I'd get Corbett. I didn't, and I understand why, and they made the right decision. It just, kind of sucked because I was the one affected. And I wrote in the Discord, like, I wrote to Riddleface when he made, like, his 15th alt because, I don't know, weird behavior. I had said, like, you completely ruined my recruiting class. And he goes, I beat you in 1 battle. And that's how, I don't want to be, like, rude to the guy, but that's how you know he's not a good coach. Because I had to put 80 AP into him to make sure. I was like, why am I falling behind? Why am I falling behind this guy? So I had to 80 him to make sure I'd get at least a chance at getting this kid. that's 80 AP that could have went to another player. And this was on day 2 or 3. So like I'm going to say day 3, but it's like day 1 is that 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. Day 2 being the first full day, day 3 being the second full day. You know what I mean? So it was the second full day of recruiting that I suddenly didn't have any AP because it was mostly all going into Corbett. I couldn't push on any other guards during that time. I was struggling with. I couldn't fight a battle for a big that I wanted because I gave up the big knowing that this was available. All my AP went here, dude. Where do you think where I don't have infinite resources? So yes, I lost just one battle, but you screwed me out of 2 recruits, and you prevented me from being able to go for a better big. So where does that leave Fort Lewis, right? uh, I am feeling the effects of recruiting, and I should say I'm feeling the effects of the prestige. I need to get better there. I strongly debated messaging Bob after and Jordan after the decision to not give me. I was about to say my recruit, the recruit back. I strongly debated messaging them and being like, "Hey, can you just remove me from Fort Lewis?" But I thought this series would be like a walk in the park, and that's also not, it shouldn't be like that. So I'm going to stick with them. I had a really piss poor class, and then it's like, okay, do I just start the members of this piss poor class and just accept and just keep working on development? I started the season actually redshirting Kells and was like, okay, I'll redshirt Kells, then I'll redshirt Connor next season so they get pushed into my now sophomore class, and then at least I can just kind of IQ stack where I have a lot of sophomores and a lot of freshmen and like kind of just jumble them all together, and just because I have such IQ, I can beat people. Opted against that. I don't want to keep just tanking for development, even though it's probably the best idea for a title is to tank. Uh, I did scout, and this was the best recruiting scouting. I'm sorry, the best recruit pool, the best recruit gen, the best scouting I've done. So I have a lot of options. If they will play out, I have no idea, but at least I have 2 less cheating accounts near me. Uh, so who did I bring in, right? I brought in Collins, Hawaii kid. So I will also say, these 3 players, well, not him, but these 2, I didn't even have scouted going into RS2. I didn't have the funds, so I had to cut somebody to scout them. And so Collins, I think it was Collins. No, it was the next guy. I'm sorry. Collins is actually playing out pretty well. My issue is that he has low stamina, and that's like the most important thing to me. Is I want that high, like at minimum, I want 80 stamina, and he's just not going to get there because he just would have grown more by now. Like I don't know. I don't think he'll get there. He's developing fine. Athleticism popped right away. Luckily, I guess these haven't turned, but like I was really hoping that these would be like closer to 20. Obviously, I was hoping that, right? Maybe they will be. Maybe his work ethic just sucks so much it's limiting his growth there. But he luckily these 3 are staying green. As long as these 3 stay green, he's not terrible long term. His stamina sucks, but I can just make him a bench guard and hope for the best. Stabler, I didn't even scout him either. I only went for Stabler because I saw CSU LA was on him in Hawaii. Thank God I scouted Hawaii because that's the only place I got recruits. The last guard was from there too. I saw a good CSU LA team on there, a D2 team, and I said, okay, bet I'm gonna just AP dump that guy and hope that he's good because I don't have scouting funds, so I'm just gonna have to hope that this kid turns out decent. Low athleticism, low speed, crappy stamina. Like this at least is doing well. Maybe it'll be high 70 if I'm lucky. No, we just won. Oh, cool. I'm 18. Anyway, so this went up 3. That's gone up 3. Maybe he's got some kick in there. Maybe that'll be like a plus 19, and he'll suddenly be 80 something, and he's like not bad anymore. He'll be good at the 3. He's a little slow, but he's got such good guard skills, and that's what I'm lacking right now is any ball handling and passing outside of Kells. So Not thrilled with him. Both the first two guards, or those two guards, are like, they're fine, but I really only went for them because my other two options were taken. Little did I know I was battling an unfair battle. Uh, and again, I want to be clear. I don't think that the owner and dev made a bad decision. I think it was just a decision they had to make. And yeah. So he'll be 80/80s for ball handling and passing. He'll be athletically, he's okay. Maybe because this went down one, maybe he's got a little bit of kick in his defense and it'll be like mid 60s or maybe even 70 on the dot. Like, I don't know. He's got no offense though. I don't know. I don't love him, but he's filling a role, I guess. And this big, I really just do not like. I had to settle on him because I was so all over the place with guards. His athleticism, of course, it turned right away. His defense, of course, it popped right away. His block just popped last game, and this just popped. So he's going to be 100 low post. At least he's got some speed. His defense kind of sucks. His rebounding, I don't really care about as much in press. He's got at least guard skills for like at least this is decent for. So he can probably score well. He's got good. He'll be a bench big maybe, but I don't like this athleticism. If this was like 75, it'd be like hell yeah. But instead, I'm like, oh god, he might be cuttable. Like that's not really a player I'm looking for. But if I keep talking about cutting all these freshmen, then I'm just never gonna get better. So went over scouting, went over the cheater, and went over my team is just not constructed well, and I really need to figure this out. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna make the tournament, which will really help this. I might get up to like a, I don't know, C or C plus or B minus or something. If I can do that, then I'll commit more to next season. Oh, look what I play next game, little cheater. Uh, if I make a couple national tournament games this season and then next season, I will be in a much stronger place, and then maybe hopefully the recruit gens are a little stronger. But so far, I have not been doing well, and I apologize about that. Anyway, I don't want to keep this video too long, so let me know what you want to see next. Scouting, I can go over my practice plan. I can go over whatever you guys want. I have had limited content because I was waiting for the owners and to make a decision, and I don't know, I was in Greece. I got married, and I just bought a house, and I just got a honeymoon, so I've been busy. But let me know what you guys want to see. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.